Hey everyone, it's the Sagan from Side to Say, and welcome to another Shocktober video. Welcome back to the Infectious Madness of Dr. Dekker. Okay, we have to do a little bit of catch-up here. So, y'all may have seen we did the Side to Say live video yesterday. Well, that came out pretty late because I was not able to get the footage in the morning like I was hoping. And so I attempted to record some Dr. Dekker in the meantime. And unfortunately, I recorded about 20 minutes worth, and the audio cut out. Or the audio didn't record at all. And after I realized this, I was like, well, screw it, I'll try it again later. Well, I still didn't have the footage later, so I decided to try it again. Only this time I played for about 20 minutes, and I forgot to hit record. It just was not my day. So, let me catch you up on what you missed. Fortunately, not much. Basically, where I ended the previous segment, we were interviewing Jaya, and I got through her thing, and then this is the part I'm really sad we don't have, like, appropriate recording for, is I went to the next act after that, and then I ended up with Nathan. And just Nathan, nobody else. And he told me he was having a loop day. And I questioned him on this. And he said, yeah, but you won't remember. And he asked me a question. And I initially got the answer wrong, but then I gave him the correct answer. And he said, yeah, but you know what, this isn't helping. And he got up and left. So I'm like, okay. So I continue on to the next act, and he's back. And he says the same thing, that he's having a loop day. I questioned this, and I realized the game is screwing with me, and that I was literally in a loop with him, and I had to give him a different answer to a certain question in order to break out of that loop. So then, continuing on, it has now put me onto officially Act 2.
At midnight each
Oh.
day.
On Valentine's
Yeah, here we go.
Night,
Time as you know it freezes.
20 minutes past 10.
Keep up, Doctor.
Thinks we're going to smother her in her sleep.
I'm a grave digger, Doctor.
I was at home,
David is my husband.
all on my lonesome.
Stabbed him with a steak knife.
Nothing changes.
I'm a qualified angel of death.
When I'm dancing,
You get this day over and over.
Hilda.
I black out,
I don't think she's got long.
And Laurie just,
naked on the beach.
Hannah.
Is that it for today?
Okay, so that was the intro to Act 2. I'm not sure why it keeps replaying that. So I will try and recap. In fact, I should be able to show you most of the things that were missed, and then we can continue on here. So first things first, at the start of Act 2, Jaya is speaking to me as though I've fallen asleep at my desk, and it seems like I've been there all night. One other thing I want to mention about the interview with Nathan is that he, at the very end, he had been talking about sim theory, which is the theory that we're all in a computer simulation and somebody with a keyboard is basically controlling everything and causing havoc. And he basically implied that that's what he thinks we're in, and that some days it feels like I'm the one with the keyboard, meaning us, the doctor, but he's really like referring to me as the player. Okay, so the other thing was Jaya gave me an SD card and said it had further evidence from Professor Alderbury. So we're going to watch that footage now, because I can just hit that and show it to you.
Nothing, of course. The faculty thinks I've gone loopy, like some kind of spongy Mobius strip. That's why I'm here, isn't it, Dr. Dekker? Him, God, the great old one. The Elder God, Cthulhu, however you address him.
First official mention of
Listen
Cthulhu.
to me, you're not listening. It's your only bloody job. Well, let's call him God. He creates this world for his amusement, something he can play with and occasionally alter to suit his mood. God loves chaos, but something goes wrong. Man and woman evolve. What was once chaotic becomes, well, more ordered. Without chaos, he has less power. When there's too much order, he becomes impotent. So he needs to instill chaos again. And do you know how he does this? No. And yes, but you're being too granular. He needs chaos so he can return, and the only thing stopping him is you. Not just you. You and people like you. Psychiatrists, doctors, nurses. Anyone who is caring for people who are losing their sanity. You have no comprehension how important your job is, do you? He doesn't need your version of insanity to spread. He needs chaos. It's not the same. It's just a means to an end. They're not all cultists, unfortunately. Once you see the truth, it's hard not to spread chaos yourself, to cause further insanity and harm your own. I doubt it. But can I make you question your reality? Definitely. But in doing so, I would be promoting more chaos. On the basis the central component of our universe is chaos, science can only document a perception of the chaos at any one given moment in time, as by definition, chaos is unpredictable from one moment to the next, which means that at any given moment, we can choose to alter our perception of the world, no matter how much chaos that would cause. In 10 seconds' time, there will be no gravity in this room, and we will float. 3, 2, 1. You think nothing happened. But where's your glass, Doctor?
That still made me jump a little bit. So yeah. When I first saw that, my initial reaction was, up until the whole in 10 seconds time there'll be no gravity in this room, my initial reaction was, can't tell if this guy's like insane or completely batshit. Like, he's pretty convinced what he's talking about, at least. Then he starts being like, oh yeah, there'll be no gravity in the room. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, you're crazy. And then the glass drops. And then I'm like, the fuck? Also, that footage being corrupted, which, always tends to be a sign of eldritch influence. Okay, so you're not missing anything here as far as our current status with the patients. We have the 5 from Act 1. Actually, and Jaya is included now. I hadn't noticed that. She had asked if she could be interviewed. I thought she wasn't in this list. I must have just missed her. But yeah, there are these 2 new ones, Lacey and Jasmine. Have not interacted with them whatsoever, have not met them, and yet they're already in amber status, which tells me that they're going to be more difficult to crack on this. So we'll try and get them in green status. But I did start with Mariana, and hopefully I'll just be able to go through and give you the questions I asked and her responses to kind of catch you up. Okay, so start out with me just saying hello.
I haven't been back to the beach since our last session, and no blackouts, new doctor, and new hope. You're much better behaved than Dr. Dekker.
Now, I asked what she meant by better behaved.
Dr. Dekker dated his patients. That's not good behavior, is it?
No, it's incredibly unethical. I questioned this.
I think her name was Scarlett? One of his patients, an older woman. I guess that's how he liked them.
Yeah, I believe... I think I asked about Scarlett next. But I'll just go through in the order that they're here. So then, yeah, I asked, she has been to the beach.
I haven't been back to the beach since our last session. I've kind of missed it.
Questions what she meant by missed it.
You do something a lot, you're gonna miss it. I suspect I'll go back there soon, but it's helped with the blackouts.
Then I asked her to tell me about Scarlet.
It's Scarlet with 2 T's. Pretentious.
Then I asked her if she'd been dancing.
I've danced around in my living room, but no clubs since last time. I like dancing around in my underwear. Sometimes less.
Now, yeah, I think next I asked her, I thought you
I
didn't
don't
drink.
only sometimes, like a social drinker. Like a social smoker. They don't smoke either.
There's a response missing here. Oh, I think I asked if he dated any other
We
patients.
went out for drinks. Didn't you know? He said it was a breach of something or the other, but I can be pretty persuasive when I want to be.
Nope, that wasn't the one. Then I questioned her persuasiveness.
I know, it's pretty hard to believe, isn't it? I feel pretty ugly. But I think I have a nice smile.
I told her she wasn't ugly.
Lots of people find me attractive, but I've seen something truly beautiful. Makes me feel dull by comparison.
Then I asked her
I
what she
have
saw
a
that was
recurring
beautiful.
dream where I find something beautiful in the sea. But I don't know you that well yet, Doctor. Let's wait a while before I tell you my most intimate secrets.
Actually, that is where I left off. I'm trying to... There was... Maybe it's in the Valentine's Day. So I asked her where she was on Valentine's Day because we know Dr. Dekker was killed on Valentine's Day. And also I'm going to kill my browser here because apparently I've got a Gmail window open. And you all don't want to hear that.
I was with Dr. Dekker until about 9 o'clock. I remember getting an Uber. It was expensive, and the driver was annoying. I saw one of your patients, actually, the nurse, when we drove by the pier. She was with someone. I don't think she saw me.
I questioned why the Uber was expensive.
Yeah, the Uber driver also fished down by the sea. He said he'd seen me lots of times after I washed up. And he told me that I had a great body. I just wanted to get home.
Okay, anything we missed? So, yeah, there almost seems to be...
I've danced around in my living room, but no clubs since last time. I like dancing around in my underwear. Sometimes less.
Okay, I know we looked at that one. Also, my initial reaction to that was hot. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing an answer here because at one point she mentioned to me that I had a button undone. And I questioned this.
Yeah, you've a button undone.
Now, I don't know exactly what she means by button undone. I mean, the way she's being shifted around, I have to assume it's my fly undone. But, like, is my dick hanging out, or is it just my pants are unbuttoned? I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I can't seem to find that initial response here, and I don't want to waste a bunch more time. Okay, that pretty much catches you up. That's all that was missed. I hate that I have to do a recap like that, but at least I'm able to replay a lot of it for you, and you're not actually missing the responses, and I'm just trying to describe it. So, that in mind, let's continue on with her. Okay. Your intimate secrets?
Wouldn't you like to know? Is our session up now?
No, we're just getting started.
Nope.
Okay, that's just one of her no responses. No, it's not over.
No idea. Is
Okay.
that a dance move? We went out for drinks. Didn't you know? He said it was a breach of something or the other, but I can be pretty persuasive when I want to be.
Drinks?
It was Valentine's Day. I drink on special occasions.
Special occasions?
We went out for Valentine's Day. Neither of us had dates, so I just suggested we go out together. You know, rather than just sit in with nothing to do. He'd been acting a bit strange anyway, and I thought he could do with a break.
Oh, by the way, okay, so I guess we're done with Mariana. Let me see where we are time-wise here. Okay, yeah, we'll go a little bit longer. So one thing else I want to mention is in the middle of interviewing Mariana, like just as soon as she was done speaking, Jaya, like, jump cut interrupted, like with a jump scare chord, and I about jumped out of my skin. And she was saying that Ben, I don't know who Ben is trying to sue us for, mental stress, and she wants to know what to do. So, since we are done with Mariana for the moment, because I will probably want her to go green before we continue on, but let's concentrate on getting everybody to Amber. Let's talk to Jaya and see what she has to say. Hello.
Hey, you. Thanks for helping me with this grief thing. I'm not sure I have it, though.
Yeah, but she does seem rather put together for, her boss having been brutally murdered. Put together?
Sorry, Doctor. I don't know. Hey, you. Thanks for helping me with this grief thing. I'm not sure I have it, though.
No grief?
Oh, I don't really know where to start. I feel a bit numb. Maybe we should just talk about him.
Tell me about Dr. Dekker.
It hadn't even been a year. He was a quiet, solitary man. A good listener, as I suppose you'd need to be. His confidence did grow as time wore on, but that's what you'd expect after you've fitted in. I mainly miss our chats. He used to work late with me and tell me things about the patients, things that I probably shouldn't have heard, but did. What do you think of the patients? Nah, perhaps you shouldn't say. You can ask me. Go on, I'll tell you what I think.
What do you think of Mariana?
Mariana is a special girl. You know, there's something about her that just makes you want to follow her. Maybe that's what a trendsetter looks like.
What about Claire?
Claire seems to be shaken by something. You know, I offer her drinks every time she comes in, but she always refuses them. It's as if she just wants to come in, get her session over with, and then run off to do something else. It's a bit rude, isn't it?
Oh, what about Elin?
Elin seems like a lovely person. I'm not really sure why she's here.
Nathan?
Oh, I just want to cuddle Nathan all up. He's such a mess. He's always in the same clothes. You know, he barely talks to me, though. It's the same hello every time. He reminds me of Tom.
Tom?
Tom was a quiet mess, like Nathan. Youngish, in his early 20s. He taught piano, but he did have a strange hobby.
Interesting. Achievement unlocked. Let's delve more into Tom here.
Tom was a quiet mess, like Nathan. Youngish, in his early 20s. He taught piano, but he did have a strange hobby.
A strange hobby?
Tom liked to base jump. That's basically falling from a huge building or mountain and pulling your parachute before you hit the ground. He started to think he could fly. Dr. Dekker tried to talk him out of it, but Tom had to prove his point. So one day, Tom decided to base jump without a parachute.
Ooh.
Can you guess what happened?
Splat. He died?
He did die. He was hit by a rock from further up the mountain. He never got to fly. Nathan thinks he knows what his problem is too, but if he's not careful, he'll get hit by that rock. I wish I'd said goodbye. I wish I'd said goodbye to Dr. Dekker. It was so sudden. Here, then gone. He resigned anyway, but that's not the same, is it?
He resigned. He resigned?
Dr. Dekker resigned shortly before his murder. No, it's sad. But doctors come and go, and only poor Jaya remains. I've got his
excuse me, it's
resignation
Jaya.
letter somewhere. You know, I do all the hiring and firing around here.
Nice.
Well, Professor Alderby and the Trust technically do that.
I'm gonna check that. February 11th, so 3 days before his murder. And okay, to whom it may concern, please accept this letter as notice of my intention to resign from my position, Dr. Dekker. Wow, that is short and fucking sweet. So I guess the important takeaway there is that it happened on the 11th, which would be 3 days prior to his murder, perhaps due to his impropriety with Mariana. I don't know.
Dr. Dekker resigned shortly before his murder. No, it's sad. But doctors come and go, and only poor Jaya remains. I've got his resignation letter somewhere. You know, I do all the hiring and firing around here. Well, Professor Alderby and the Trust technically do that.
What about Alderby?
Professor Alderby is a trustee. Did I not mention that?
A trustee?
I think I'm going to get into trouble now. Have you ever heard of secret shoppers? Well, Professor Alderby posed as a patient to test Dr. Dekker. It's just a thing that he does. I'm sure he'll come and visit you at some stage, so please play along.
Interesting. That is actually very interesting because that throws into question the footage that we watched in the beginning. If Alderby is indeed playing the part of somebody that's just batshit, how do we explain the thing with the glass?
I think I'm going to get into trouble now. Have you ever heard of secret shoppers? Well, Professor Alderby posed as a patient to test Dr. Dekker. It's just a thing that he does. I'm sure he'll come and visit you at some stage, so please play along.
Alderby is not crazy?
I can't help you with that. Sorry.
Alright, let's ask her about the rest of the patients and we'll circle back to that one. So we asked about Claire, Elin, Mariana, and Nathan. What about Bryce?
I think Bryce has a lot of misdirected anger. I don't think I like him that much. You know, sometimes when things overrun, he's outside waiting for you, and he stares at me as if he's undressing me with his eyes. You know, he's not the first person that's done that, but still, you know, it feels worse coming from him.
Who is Lacey?
It's very interesting that you asked me that. It's not something I can answer, though.
Lacey?
I don't know about that, Doctor.
Jasmine.
I don't know anything about that, I'm afraid.
Interesting. So she knows nothing about the two that are already here. It's almost like they're not here, if that makes sense. Interesting. No, we're not done with her. Alright, well, anything we have left to do on?
It hadn't even been a year. He was a quiet, solitary man. A good listener, as I suppose you'd need to be. His confidence did grow as time wore on, but that's what you'd expect after you've fitted in. I mainly miss our chats. He used to work late with me and tell me things about the patients, things that I probably shouldn't have.
You would work late?
We'd work late together on all sorts of things. He was preoccupied with finding patterns in patients, trying to find some kind of order.
Order?
I'm not trying to hide anything. I just don't know. We'd work late together on all sorts of things. He was preoccupied with finding...
Yeah, I was in the right neighborhood, but wrong
Mainly
word.
he was searching for a common experience the patients might have had. That's what led them to his office. He'd study everything, even the referral letters.
Referral letters?
Yes, letters, parking tickets, holiday destinations. You know, I find those referral letters... He was sure there was a pattern in them.
And did we just get more evidence? Not yet. Alright, I'm gonna take a hint with her. Who had a session on Valentine's Day? Who was seen on Valentine's Day?
On Valentine's Day, Dr. Dekker had a session with Claire Castleford at 11 and that nurse, Elin, at 3. Everyone else cancelled. You should see this place Christmas Eve. I was at home though, so I don't actually know who came in. Dr. Dekker did phone and ask me for Nathan's number, which is a bit strange.
But I thought he'd be retired at this point. Did Dr. Dekker call Nathan the day he was murdered? I should ask Nathan. That's where we'll start the next one. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up now. But we'll continue on with Jaya until we get her Amber. But we are going to run along here if I don't. So, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, you stay classy, Internet.